They were both cuddling and kissing passionately and intimately, their bodies entangled under the fading amber of the late afternoon sun. Her laughter was soft like silk, and his whispers melted into her hair like promises too fragile to be spoken aloud. They didn't notice the leaves rustling behind the trees or the small figure standing behind the fence, hidden in shadow, silent like a ghost. Jameson stood there, motionless. He had followed her, not out of malice, but curiosity, perhaps a small hope. He told himself he just wanted to make sure she was safe, but deep down, he knew it was more than that. He had loved her quietly, like a secret too dangerous to confess. And now, he stood there, watching Sarah love someone else. Watching her give away everything he had only ever dreamed of having. His heart cracked that day, but he didn't move. He watched it all. Sarah met Jameson 3 years ago. It was raining, and she was carrying too many books under her arm. He had offered her his umbrella. She didn't remember what he looked like that day, only the warmth of his hands and the gentle smile that said, "You're not alone." From that moment on, Jameson was always there. In the background, in the crowd, a silent cheerleader, a quiet storm. He never told her how he felt. She was too bright, too full of sunlight, and he didn't want to cast shadows across her face. So he stayed close, as a friend, and Sarah never saw it, or maybe she did, but never dared to name it. The boy she was with in the field was named Caleb. He was beautiful in the loud, confident way Jameson never was. He made Sarah laugh until she cried and cried until she laughed again. He held her like the world could end at any moment, and he wanted to remember how she felt in his arms. But Caleb wasn't kind the way Jameson was. He was careless with her heart. He made promises without thinking, and when they broke, the pieces landed like glass all over Sarah's skin. Jameson saw it, every heartbreak, every time she ran to her room and closed the door, pretending she didn't care. He saw the tears she thought no one could see. He watched her smile through pain. And yet, he never told her the truth, that he saw everything, that he had been there, even when she didn't ask. Because love, to Jameson, was not possession. It was sacrifice. That afternoon, in the field, was the last time Sarah ever kissed Caleb. Jameson didn't know it yet, but something had shifted. Caleb had whispered something cruel in the midst of all the softness, and Sarah's heart closed up like a dying flower. She walked home in silence, not knowing she was being followed. Jameson's hands were clenched in his pockets. He hated himself for following her, for watching what wasn't his. But he couldn't stop. That night, Sarah sat at her window. She didn't cry. She just looked out at the stars with empty eyes. And Jameson watched from across the street. Days passed, then weeks. Caleb vanished from Sarah's life like smoke. And Jameson stayed the same, kind, dependable, invisible. Until one day, Sarah turned to him with tired eyes and said, "Do you ever feel like love isn't real? That maybe it's just pain in disguise?" Jameson looked at her and almost broke, but he smiled. "Yes," he whispered, "but pain has a way of teaching us who we really are." One late evening, Sarah asked him to walk with her. The sky was bruised purple and orange, like someone had scraped color across it with tired fingers. They didn't talk much. Their hands brushed once, then twice, then settled into stillness. She stopped under the old willow tree near the lake. "I know you were there that day," she said. Jameson's heart stopped. "I saw you," she added. "By the fence." He didn't speak. What could he say? "I thought I'd be angry," she continued. "But I wasn't. I think I was waiting for you to say something. I didn't want to hurt you," he said. "Or make you feel watched." "I didn't feel watched. I felt seen." Those words undid him. Sarah wasn't angry, but she wasn't ready either. Her heart was still learning how to trust again, how to open after all the bruises. Jameson didn't push. Instead, they built something small, quiet. A friendship that felt like a lullaby. She called him when the nights were heavy, and he answered without hesitation. They watched movies together without speaking. Sometimes, she cried, and he didn't ask why. And in those silences, something sacred grew. Not loud like Caleb, but real. One winter morning, Sarah got a letter. Her mother had fallen ill in another state. She had to leave, maybe for a few months, maybe longer. Jameson helped her pack. He never told her how much it hurt. Watching her fold her life into a suitcase, watching her zip up every memory they had made together. As she stood at the train station, she turned to him and whispered, "You were always the safest place." He smiled. "Go where you're needed." She hugged him, a long, trembling embrace that held every unsaid word between them. And then she was gone. Seasons passed. Jameson wrote letters. Some he sent, most he didn't. He would go to the field sometimes, stand by the fence where he had once seen her kiss someone else, and wonder if he would ever get to kiss her like that. Or if some stories were only meant to be written in silence. Sarah wrote too, short texts, occasional photos, but she was busy, and he didn't blame her. Love, after all, is not about demanding someone's time. It's about holding space for their return. Almost a year later, on a soft spring afternoon, Sarah came back. She looked older, softer, like she had seen storms and come back with wind in her hair. She stood on Jameson's porch, holding her suitcase. He opened the door, stunned. She said nothing, just looked at him like he was the place she had been searching for all along. And then, without a word, she walked into his arms. They didn't kiss, not then, they just held each other. And in that embrace, Jameson felt the weight of all the years they had missed, all the moments they hadn't said what they should have, all the pain that had carved holes in their hearts. He held her tighter, as if to say, "You're safe now." And Sarah wept quietly, the way only someone who has finally found home can. Some love stories don't start with fireworks. Some start in the quiet ache of watching someone from afar, in the pain of knowing they love someone else, in the sacrifice of staying silent so they don't break more than they already have. Jameson never asked for her love, but she gave it anyway, in her own time. And when she finally did, it was soft, and true, and unshakable. Years later, Sarah would tell their daughter, "Your father saw me at my lowest. He saw me give my heart to someone who didn't deserve it. And he stayed. He saw everything, and still chose to love me." And Jameson would say, "Love isn't always about being seen first. Sometimes, it's about being the one who never looked away."